These 5 starter houses are all builds that you can complete within the first day of your Minecraft world. They're all made with cheap and easy to get resources, plus they're pretty simple so it won't take too long to construct either. Let me show you how to make them. First up, we have this small wooden house, mostly made up of oak wood, along with a few barrels that not only look good aesthetically, but can also be used as storage from the inside. I have included some glass panes into this house, which may seem a little pricey for day one until you think about how common sand actually is. You don't need to go all the way to the desert to find some. It's on shorelines, rivers, lakes, everywhere basically. Then you can use any of the excess wood to smelt it into glass. We aren't left with a whole lot of room on the inside, but I think that just makes it nice and cozy. Very fitting for a starter house. And besides, you can always move out at a later stage. The point of these houses is that it's just a little nicer than a hole in the wall. The second house is mostly made up of stone blocks this time, just in case you want something that's not completely wooden. We're using polished andesite, cobblestone and regular andesite. Any other stone variants such as stone bricks might be a little tricky to gather on the first day. Thankfully, cobble is no trouble and andesite is usually somewhere to be found exposed on the surface. Essentially, we're just mixing the andesite and cobblestone together in order to add some texture to the house. I am building all of these houses in real time so you can get an idea of how long they actually take to make. This one is the longest of the bunch and that's mainly just due to the texturing. You don't have to copy it exactly as I have here and save yourself some time. You could even build it fully out of cobblestone and then add in the andesite from the inside where you're safe from any mobs. But this takes around 3 to 4 minutes, which should give you enough time to gather all of the resources. We are using a little bit of spruce as it's difficult to build a starter house without any wood involved, but it's mainly just for the roof. It is worth mentioning that you can easily switch out any of these blocks for something that 1, you might prefer the look of, and 2, they're easier to gather in your specific world. For example, say you want to make this house but you can't find a taiga biome anywhere nearby, but perhaps there's a dark forest, then you can use dark oak wood, or the safe bet, regular oak wood. You can find oak trees all over the world. Next up, we have this tiny adorable house, which is definitely achievable on the first day. It only takes a single minute to build, and the resources aren't too intensive either. Mainly just oak and spruce trapdoors, and as I said, you could use something else if it's easier to get. I'm not sure how long you could live in a house of this size. You might be moving out pretty quickly, but you do have all the necessities for the first few days. 2 barrels of storage, a crafting table, a furnace, and a bed. Not forgetting a very small crop farm on the roof. Our fourth house combines both wood and stone for a nice mix of the two. This is maybe one of the more resource heavy builds, but it's mainly just all of the wood. As long as you've got some dark oak and spruce trees nearby, you should have no trouble gathering all of the blocks if you chop enough trees. I've also incorporated the furnaces into the cobblestone trim, so we'll have a little bit more room on the inside, plus it looks pretty good from the outside. One thing I will mention about this house when it comes to building it is that it's pretty much entirely symmetrical, so if you can't see one side that well in the video, it's probably the same as all of the other sides. The only real thing that differs is the door on the front side. Everything else is basically the same. We are building a Hobbit Hole for the final house. Now I know what I said at the start of the video, that these builds were meant to be a replacement for just digging into a wall for the first night. Well, a Hobbit Hole isn't a nasty dirty wet hole filled with the ends of worms and an oozy smell. It's much more sophisticated than that. Plus, the bonus for this one is, once you've gathered all of your resources and found a wall to build up against, the exterior takes no time at all. That means you can get this part done in the daylight, and come nightfall, you can work on the interior, taking your time without worry of being shot at, eaten alive, or blown up. Of course, you could build the interior first and then head out to do the exterior later. Obviously, it's up to you. It's not mandatory to build all of these within the first day. I'm not setting you a challenge. They're just small and simple enough that you could do that if you wanted to. Now when it comes to building the interior, for the sake of the video so that you guys can see what's going on a bit better, I have just removed the exterior wall. I wouldn't recommend doing this, it leaves you a bit open to the elements, so just pretend that the entranceway and all of the dirt is still there. I'll put it back later. And lastly, I should also mention that the size of the hole you need to dig out on the inside is 4 blocks deep, 5 blocks high and 5 blocks wide. The center point is the block in between the door and the glass pane. So there we go everybody, those are 5 simple starter houses that you can whip up on day 1 in your Minecraft world. Be sure to let me know which one was your favourite in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, bye for now.